Did you wanted to make a sled for your table saw but found it a little bit too complicated and too hard to do? Or maybe you wanted a solution a bit more robust that, apart from normal cross cutting, it gives you an option to do mitered cuts as well. And the whole build is absolutely dead simple, and best of all, you don't have to buy expensive accessories. You can simply utilize the accessories that came with your table saw. However, there's nothing stopping you from going a little bit more fancy with this project if you wanted to. Right then, so what type of materials we're gonna need for this build? In my case, I will be using 9mm MDF board. However, if you've got plywood, that would be best. Now for the runners. In my case, for the right hand side of our sled, I'm actually going to be using plywood. I think this is about 5 or 6mm thick piece of plywood. Of course, I need to trim it to the right size so it fits the Mitre slot. And of course, this is not the best material to use. The best material would be HDPE plastic. Unfortunately, I have run out of it, so I will be making my runner out of plywood. And of course, you're gonna need some sort of a mitre gauge for your table saw. Now I've got this one from Enjoy Wood, absolutely brilliant piece of kit, and it's not too expensive either. I have done a full video on it, so I'm gonna leave a link down below in the description of this video. And you can scan this QR code if you're watching this video on a TV. You can scan this with your phone and save that video to watch later if maybe you are in the market of a really decent mitre gauge. But hey, this is what I'm going to be using for my jig. However, if you are planning to use your mitre gauge that came with your saw and the bar is on the short side, well, you really need to replace it with something longer. Plywood, potentially not the best solution. HDPE plastic would be better, or actually for not a lot of money you can buy these mitre bars and attach it to your existing mitre gauge. So that's the few solutions I've got for you if your bar on your existing mitre gauge is on the short side. Right then, first of all, I'm just going to measure the width of my mitre slot so I can cut this piece of plywood to the correct size. Now I've got 19mm. Okay, I'm just gonna go a little bit more, and then I'm just gonna try to trim this piece of plywood until I get a really nice snug fit. Tell you what, for cuts like this, make sure to install your zero clearance plate. It will be a lot safer. And if you want to find out how I've made this a zero clearance plate for my table saw, I'm going to leave a link to my video on it, or actually there should be a QR code just over here somewhere. You can scan it with your phone and save it to watch later. Now, as I mentioned, for the first cut we went a little bit wider, and now we can just trim it to the right size, taking a tiny bit each time. So I'm just going to place it between my fence and the blade, and I'm going to push the fence against the blade. Okay, we don't want to remove too much material to make sure we get a perfect fit for this runner. And in this way we managed to achieve a perfect fit. Now let's cut the MDF panel to the correct size. In my case, it's going to be 900mm wide and 600mm deep. Right, now it's time to figure out how to combine the mitre gauge and the base itself so that the top of the fence will actually still give us the mitre ability. The position of my mitre gauge is, as you can see now, so the edge of my fence is flush with the MDF board. If I needed longer support from the fence, I can actually extend the fence. However, I don't think I'm going to need the base here. If, for example, I'm going to be cross-cutting something very long, what I can do is to use this T-track on the top and just clamp down the piece of material to my MDF base, so nothing's going to move and I won't be worrying about the overhang from the left-hand side. Before I'm going to strip away my mitre gauge, I'm just going to mark my MDF board to give me an indication where the runner needs to be. And I'm going to transfer this mark from the underneath as well. And now I'm just going to take my mitre gauge apart. Now we need to figure out how to attach the runner to our MDF base. Now you can do it in two ways. First of all, well, you can just drill some holes through this, countersink from other side and just drive in some screws and hold it like that. However, in my case, I'm going to try to use the existing holes, okay? So 2 holes right at the back, and I'm going to take this wheel off and use basically a longer bolt. First of all, I'm just going to mark the holes on our board. To do that, I need to flip this upside down, as this is our top and the runner needs to be from the other side. To make sure everything is squared up and that I'm in the correct position, I'm just going to clamp down my square to the board itself so I can marry up the bar correctly. To make sure the holes I'm going to drill for the hardware is in the correct position, I'm just going to draw a line through the center of all of these, so that will eliminate any potential issues. The first hole will be for the largest bolt, and I'm just going to use the original as it's long enough in my case. However, I need to recess the head, so I'm just going to measure this up. That's about 16 millimeters, and I'm going to use a force snippet to create a recess for the head of it. And I'm going to carry on in the same way for the rest of the 2 holes. You know, sometimes you are getting ahead of yourself a little bit too much and you do things that are absolutely not necessary. Like the recess for the head of the bolt. Well, that's not needed as it's going to be in the track, just like so. One extra thing that I had to do is this spacer block that will go just here, okay? It does have through holes for the screws that will be holding our location pin, okay? So that's going to go just like that, and that will go on top. So now I'm just going to glue that in place on our panel. However, it doesn't have to be ultra strong, it's just a spacer. So I'm just going to drop a bit of CA glue for that quick initial bond and some wood glue. And I'm just going to clamp it down for a few minutes and wait for the glue to set. Okay, with that piece in place, now let's start putting everything together. Now I've put those 3 screws in place, so now I'm just going to screw everything onto them. And now it's time to install the plywood runner on the other side. To install the second runner, I'm just going to put some spacers in the mitre slot. Put that on top, okay, so it's elevated probably about 2 millimeters above the level of our workbench. And initially I'm just going to use a bit of CA for the grabbing part, and when the CA dries, I'm just going to come back with some screws and secure it in place to the main body of our jig. Put some weight on top, and I'm going to wait probably a minute or 2 with the CA glue dried out. I'm going to pre-drill some holes, countersink them and drive in the screws to hold the track in place. Now, to make sure everything is correct, well, do a bit of sliding, see if anything's rubbing, if anything's bonding. In my case, it's absolutely fine. We are not adding any fences to our sled. We just need to make a full cut. Okay, so both of the pieces, the one on the left and on the right, are not connected to each other. Remember, well, depending how you orientate it around the table, so for me it will be the right hand side. That is just a spacer for the offcut. Okay, so it's just safer to have that raised panel on the right hand side so the offcut pieces land on that. And that's also helpful if you are trying to cut wider pieces. You are getting that support on both sides of the blade. Now, one thing I forgot to mention before you make the cut, make sure that your blade is at perfect 90, okay? You don't want the blade to be tilted, as then the reference edge of our sled, well, will not be accurate and you will be those few millimeters off. Now it's time to install our fence. And in my case, I simply slide it from the side. Before locking the fence in place, you need to make sure that the edge of the fence will not be touching the side of the blade. Now it's a good idea to check if our fence is actually squared up to the edge of our board. Now that edge will be perfect in accordance to the blade itself, okay? So they're gonna be parallel to each other. So I'm just using my square to the edge of our board, and as I can see, we've got a perfect 90. And I'm actually zeroed here on the indicator as well, so everything seems to be in order. And if I want to do some angle cuts, let's say 45, well, tell you what, it's that simple. Just like that. And I'm ready to cut straight away. And I've got full support of the base here. Absolutely brilliant. And if you've got something longer that you need the support for, well, I can extend the fence as well. Right then, so let's do some test cuts and see how our new sled performs. And as you can see, it works like a charm on longer pieces, full support, and even on wider pieces, you've got full support as well, where sometimes, well, cutting those wider pieces wouldn't be possible. In this case, no issues at all. However, this setup gives you additional abilities, like a stop block system that you can install on the top. You can set up the correct distance from the blade and make perfect repetitive cuts each time. But you can also use this to create some clamping solutions or maybe some additional jigs. But hey, let's make some 45-degree angled cuts. And there you have it, nice and quick 45-degree cuts, and most importantly, dead on accurate as well. Absolutely perfect. And one other benefit that this solution has, it's not gonna take a huge amount of space to actually store this in your workshop. You can remove the fence, and it's so easy to hang it up somewhere on the wall or just put it in the corner, as sometimes the sleds that you build for your table saws are absolutely huge, massive fences, very thick, and well, quite frankly, heavy to lift and maneuver around your workshop. And in this case, it's not a problem. And apart from those basic cross cuts that you can make with a sled, in this case, you can quite easily, simply and quickly do mitered cuts as well. How awesome is that? And you don't really have to buy an expensive miter gauge as well. You can utilize the one that comes with your table saw. Just make a longer ruler out of plywood or some sort of a plastic and just make a wider, longer fence. That's it. Nothing complicated about that. Now, I hope today's video was helpful to you and maybe gave you some inspiration and ideas for your table saw sled. If it did, drop me that like button down below and consider subscribing to my channel as well. And at this point, I want to say a massive thank you to my Patreons for the ongoing support. And before you go, check out these two cool playlists, plenty of fantastic videos waiting for you there. However, for today, that's all. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.